with our family.
Sure.
I pray that all blessings will flow.
You've gotten a call.
Yeah, no. Early start this time.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah.
Which is Mr.
Distinguished with a great beard.
I don't know how it happened. What has happened?
I know. I don't know. It's something in the air, man. Everybody's getting gray, whether you're at the age or not. I'm seeing people, in their late 20s having gray beard.
Yep. I don't have it there, but it's starting on top. That's for sure.
Everyone's in good health, feeling good.
Yeah, I don't know. I threw my back out, so
Ooh.
I gotta go to the so, but, okay.
Well, you're still moving, so it's not too bad.
It's just a pinched nerve, and it's only when I'm lying down at night.
That's interesting. Yeah, because usually your back, it's when you're up.
No, I can move around. I still feel it, but it's really when I'm lying flat.
Oh.
You want to say hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, sweet.
Okay. Maybe I will log out and log in again. Let me log out and log in to start all over again. I will leave.
Okay, Baba.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm back.
Okay.
Okay. The proceed. Okay.
You're breaking
I
up, Baba.
need an acknowledgement that you can hear me because it's cutting in. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
there you go.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay. The Ogbe Obara is another in the all the Ogbe gave to
Quiet.
the so in what Obara was in spirit world was and then he went for the for show he must initiate so he
I don't know. Maybe if Baba, I don't know if you can still hear us. Maybe if you
Yeah.
join it without the video.
Yeah.
without the video.
Yeah,
Probably,
we can't
yeah.
hear anything. It's very we didn't hear. So maybe if you tried without the video, there would be less it would be easier.
For my
Excuse me, sweetie.
I do that. I got remove the. Can you hear me?
Benny,
My video is off, but
that's better.
you can hear me clearly. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
I was just okay. We'll go without the video. As I was saying, Ogbe Obara gave initiated Shango, and he gave Ifa to Shango. After he gave Ifa to Shango, now Shango wanted to go home and serve him, but he was bashful. He was not impressed because he looked at himself as a very poor priest. That's in the spirit world, and he didn't. Shango refused, so he went home. Meanwhile, wickedness has overtaken the earth, and Shango wants to come and disperse justice all around. Wants to be destroying things, destroy the wicked ones, and to bring justice to the earth. And then he started using lightning, thunder, wind as with Oya to destroy many plants and animals and humans. And at this time, Ogbe Obara was not home, according to Osamaro. So his wife went out to sing a song, making it's a form of incantation, calling on Ira, that he paid homage to the light, to thunder, paying homage to thunder, that for the thunder to observe Ifa's house and spare Ifa's house. So when Shango heard this song, heard this incantation and the songs, the Shango was reminded of his benefactor, which is Ogbe Obara, and he spared the house. So usually in our land, when we're hearing lightning and thundering, we will always pay homage to Shango in the hope that if you are pure and you have good heart, that nothing is going to happen to you. When Ogbe Obara comes, when we cast Ogbe Obara, Ifa we advise the person to show gratitude. If we cast Ogbe Obara for somebody, we can tell the person, if he's not showing gratitude to a person who is helping them before, to start showing gratitude, because vengeance will surely come in. Or if we cast it, we can tell the person, many people are not showing gratitude when you are helping them, to make offerings, to pray for that, so that people will show their thankfulness when you help them. Ogbe Obara, when Ogbe Obara was born, he was actually born in a town called Oba, and that's in Ondo State. It's very close to us here, about 2 hours drive. It's the town where Ogbe Obara was born, and his father was not very rich. So, but he from young started to learn the practice. He was learning Ifa, and he became a very prominent Ifa priest, and later was the chief diviner of the king of the Oba town, the Olobara of Oba. Other Odus talk about how Ifa how Orunmila gave Ifa to Shango, and Shango showed gratitude. Even when Shango is using fire to destroy things, according to Osamaro, when in many Odus, the fire will always spare Ifa, is spared on Umila's house at all times. If the whole house burned down, wherever we put the Ikin of Ifa, will be spared. Fire will always respect it. Okay. Ogbe Obara was born in a town called Oba, in very close to Akure, and in Ondo State. He also made divination for 3 brothers whose father were fishermen, and they want to embark on the profession of their father. So they went to Ifa, they went to Orunmila, and Ogbe Obara cast for them and told them to go and make offering of a he-goat to Eshu, and to pray to their head. On their way home, after leaving Orumila's house, they are contemplating that their father never did make offering, and he was prosperous in his life, doing the same work of harvesting fish from a lake, that why should they make it? So they never did make the offering. Usually when we cast, if an hour is thinking about this Odu, and we cast a part for somebody, and Ogbe Obara was cast, we can ask the person if he's a third of 3 brothers, because this Odu came for 3 brothers. The same Odu came for the boa constrictor, so that when he went for divination, and Orunmila told him to go and make an offering so that he will not die the same death that killed his own father. But the boa did not do it. He cast for the rabbit. The same Odu cast for the guinea fowl. All these entities, they refuse to make offering. Hence, so much catastrophe happens in their life. It also cast for the Iroko tree that received. Iroko is the tree that receives the offerings of the mother, where we put the offerings of the mother. They all refused to make offering. They were also to pray to their head, which they did refuse. But at long last, when they faced the catastrophe that did happen, one after the other, they realized making offering is what helps. As how Orunmila taught, making offering is what helps. Not making offering does not help anyone. The 3 brothers, many different things happened to them, but they later survived, because after they survived, when we cast Ogbe Obara, we will always tell a person not to delay offerings or sacrifices. If you are told in Ogbe Obara to go and make offering, we do it quickly, because the negativity might happen very, very quickly. And the reason why we always say that, we believe in Ifa tradition that every day, every single day, Eshu is asking Igoroko, his personal assistant, who was told to make it. every cast, every time the Ikin was beaten, every time the chain was thrown. Quickly. Me, I will recommend 14 days, recommend 21 days, 7 days, 14 days, 21 days. Anything after that is getting to be too long. So one can, and some divination, when we do it, it manifests right away where the
He's gone.
Yeah, we lost him.
How is everyone?
Back.
Okay, I'm back. I can hear you. I see. Ogbe Obara, it is the technology that we use in Nigeria. Everything in Nigeria, the corruption is so bad that if the government says, let us spend 2 million on this project, if the government says, let's spend 2 million on this project, you can guarantee that 3/4 of that money is going to the pocket of those people in charge. They do not. Nobody is caring for nobody here, especially people in our government. They are the people depriving us of because of greed. If judgment is going to happen on this earth, Nigeria will be the #1 place where judgment is going to be. I know that, I believe it, because there's so much negativity in this land. But those who are good are there. The goodness is still flourishing here. That's why we cannot enjoy the benefits of having a government. So when the country breaks into pieces, we will have a good life. It must break into pieces, where now we can know, we can see who is afflicting us with those people. Because it will be a small country then. Just Yoruba nation. That's all we want, Yoruba nation. Anyways, we'll continue on. Blessings will continue to be ours. He made divination for Akenshiolu. Akenshiolu was a bandit who terrorizes people. And Ogbe Obara decided that he's going to face him and eliminate him, which is what we should do. We must not be afraid to. If we have the right, equipped rightly, we can face anybody and bring joy. Is going to face Akenshiolu, and Akenshiolu and people who will not let a bride get to their groom. He will not let a groom get to their bride. Women are going to the market. He will disturb them. People are having their ceremonies. He will disturb them. So one day, Ogbe Obara said he's going to face this guy, and he went for divination. And Ifa told him to do all the things Ifa told him to do. He did it. So he went. That time, Ogbe Obara was using. He was actually a hunter at the same time, using a bow and arrow. So he went there with 3 arrows and three arrows and 1 bow to eliminate him. And then when he got to Akenshiolu's farmland, he called out for him. Akenshiolu was so sure of himself, and he was like, "Who is this person? Who dare come into this land and be calling me?" So Ogbe Obara answered him and said, "It is I." And what Ogbe Obara used was incantation. It shows us in this Odu that the powers of the power that incantation has. So it is important to, and those incantations come from the principle that the Eledumare used to create the earth. One of the incantations, it says, when he shot 1 arrow to him, Akenshiolu shot an arrow to Ogbe Obara. And Ogbe Obara made an incantation that a woman carries her child through the left side. When we want to put a baby on her back, she will use it through the left side, which is part of our tradition, and then wrap the cloth around the child with the sash at the bottom to hold the baby and tie it around her waist. As our women lap. And this is what incantation Ogbe Obara used to defer the arrow that was coming to him on his left side, and he went away. He shot his own, and Ogbe Obara made an incantation for it to go into the ground. Because when the penis enters a vulva, into a vagina, it goes straight into the ground. And he used that incantation. He used all 3 different incantations. And he used it to eliminate Akensholu. And everybody in the society, in the town, realized that's when they realized how powerful Ogbe Obara is. Ogbe Obara is very good Odu. Ifa told us when this Odu appears at divination, the person should be told to make sacrifice in order to survive a difficult assignment, which may be called upon to undertake, which he cannot refuse, an assignment that he cannot refuse. Can you hear me? Are you hearing me?
Benny, Baba.
Okay. I'm making sure that you are, I'm seeing you, but I know you can see me. I'm happy that you can hear me, it helps us a bit because he is not strong. Ogbe Obara was a very experienced hunter, very proficient. According to Osamaro, he said in his field of operation was a stretch of a forest called Ahe. One day, he met another hunter, and this hunter came from the spirit world to come on, because at that time, people from the spirit world are interacting with the people on earth. And this farmer came from the spirit world, and they both agreed to be hunting in a forest where people hardly go there to hunt. So they made a trench. In this trench, they agreed to themselves, amongst themselves, that any animal that the trap that is set in the trench catches, that they will divide it in half, and his friend will carry half, and he will take half home. And then one day, there was in the trap that is set there, the mother of this one from the spirit world was trapped there. And then what they did was, it was being killed, they just divided up. And also that day, a dog was also caught. So, and they divided up in the right way. When his friend from the spirit world now came, because what they do is if a trap catches an animal, they will cut it in half. The person who gets there first will take his own and leave the other half there. But on this time, Ogbe Obara was the one to get there first. He cut everything in half and he left the other half there and left. When his friend came now from the spirit world and realized this is the mother of the spirit world that these trappers the trappers killed. When he returned back home, there was so much uproar in the spirit world there. And the people in the spirit world there now and the divinities now realize that, this is war, this is battle. We are not going to interact with these people anymore. So everything was sealed. No rain, the heat was strong, no dews, all the plants are drying, so there's a drought. And the people had to go to offering. Ogbe Obara himself went to Ifa to find out what was going on. And it was shown to him that, they've committed an abomination. Things that they are not supposed to done has been done. So they make offering and started pleading. Ogbe Obara helped the people of this earth plead to the people in the spirit world for forgiveness. From the time the catastrophe has happened, there's separation from the spirit world and those people on the earth. So those from the spirit world are not dealing with the people on the earth anymore. They are not coming to the market. Before they can come here and interact with us, from that time on, there's separation. After enough offerings and begging, everything came back together. They accepted, the people of the spirit world accepted, and now make a vow that when people are old, they will return back. Or when they are dead, it's only when they can return back to the spirit world. Before people can travel back and forth, we travel back, take permission. There's a place called Oligun where we travel there and come back. There you can know what is happening there. But from the time they have severed the link of where we can travel back, people don't travel. They only travel back through after, or they only can only travel back when people have passed on. When Osamaru said, when Ogbe Obara therefore comes out at a divination, the person should be told to serve Ogun. You see, when we see Ogbe Obara, we can make offerings to Ogun and to offer a goat for the sacrifice at the ancestral shrine of his forefathers. We must pray to the ancestors so that he might not run into difficulties as a result of action of his relations, of things that anybody in the relations have done, and to avoid vengeance from higher authority as a result of deeds of their relation. Because of this, Ogbe Obara survived fire accident. We know that fire spares the life of Ifa. Fire spares, honors Ifa and the king of Ifa all the time. In this story, one day, the Ogbe Obara's dad, his father's house was on fire. And his parents they rushed out of the house, and Ogbe Obara, they did not know what became of him, because they thought he was still in his room. But he was out that night. He wasn't at home. The whole house burnt down, and the whole communities noticed Ogbe Obara's goat going back into the house. And the goat was burnt. The whole house burned down. The goat burnt. Everything was destroyed. In the morning, when he came, everybody were greeting him. They greeted him, congratulations, congratulations. You know, because they thought he was already dead. In my land, if you are saved from an accident, or a catastrophe happened and you free from it, people will greet you, we're greeting you for having a good good head, because a good head does not perish. A good head lives long. Now, when Ogbe Obara was devastated when he found out, when he asked about his goat, and this goat always have 4 children at a time. Hardly do we see a goat that has 4 children. The most will be 2. But Ogbe Obara has this goat that has 4 children, and he's a very good friend of his. And Ogbe Obara lamented, and he made a proclamation that anytime a house or a household burned down, a goat that eats with the owner of the house and drink with the owner of the house must surely go with that house, that it will not be spared. So goats usually, according to the tradition, when a house is burning down, a goat of that house will walk into that fire and die in there. It's from the proclamation. So it's through the Odus of Ifa, many things are happening in the world that we do not know the reason why they are happening, but with Ifa, we understand why they are happening. I never knew until I understand Ifa and know this story, that a goat goes back into a house and dies there. And when there's a fire, if that goat has lived in that house, has been fed and has been drinking and eating with the owners of those houses, that it will, on the day of disaster, the goat will also go. When this Odu therefore comes out at divination, the person should be told to serve the entrance of his house with a tortoise in order to avoid fire accident. Ogbe Obara makes sacrifice for prosperity. You know, when we cast Ogbe Obara and we make proper sacrifice of a rooster, cooked yam, and alligator pepper, as Ogbe Obara advised us to do here, that such a person must be prosperous. If this is Odu that rules you, constantly, always, continuously making this offering to Ifa, such a person must prosper in their life. He made divination for Adegoroye, the prince of Ewiado. This Odu tells us why it is important to always go to Ifa in this story, the crown prince Adegoroye, his father, who is the king of Ewiado, he died. And he was very famous. He was everybody loved him because he was it was very, how do I say it, for a person to be assertive, to be strong in his will and doing things for the community, proclaiming things that are good. And people are happy that, oh, okay, he's going to be the king. But not in Yoruba land do the son of a king, like the king of Ife right now, most of the time in our land, is the lineage that becomes the next king, not a son. Okay, a father has 4 children, 4 sons. The first son, the father is the king. When the lineage, the generation, the next generation is going to come now, it will be the son of the king's brother who will be the next king. It doesn't have to be, because it's not written for only one head, where me the king, then when I die, my son now become the king. When my son died, now his son now become the king. No. I'm the king. When I grow old and die, my brother's son now becomes the king. Now, if I have 3 brothers, when my brother's son is gone, the next king becomes my other brother, son or great grandson. So we have to maintain that. We maintain that where it is the bloodline that becomes the. And in Ogbe Obara, this time his son wants to become the king, and many people rise up, even though everybody wants him. Some people are there against it, saying he will not become king because somebody else must be king, because his father is not the only one. His father has brothers too. So when the kingmaker saw this, they advised him to go to Ogbe Obara. And the Ogbe Obara advised him, casting Ifa. When he cast Ifa and Ogbe Obara come, Ogbe Obara said for him to go give a ram to Ifa, which is what he did. And he was proclaimed the king. He became the king. From hence, it became that if somebody is gunning for a title, Ifa will tell him to go and give a ram. If you want peace of mind, Ifa will say, go and give a sheep. If you want prosperity, Ifa will say, go and give you want peace of mind, or somebody is sick, they will say, go and give a pig for peace of mind. So it was proclaimed different offerings, different animals as offering for asking for specific things from Orunmila. Meanwhile, Eshu takes a he-goat or a rooster. Meanwhile, Orunmila takes a female goat. That's a staple food, but we can still give him to ask for special things from Ifa. In this Odu, we were able to see that a ram is what Adegoroye, the son of Ewi of Ado, gave at that time to come to the throne of his ancestors. Ogbe Obara made a definition for a man whose wife was a witch and really against his prosperity. In this story, there was a man who has a wife, and after a while, his prosperity started to dwindle. Everything is going bad. So he decided he's going to go check himself out. So he went to Ifa, he went to Ogbe Obara, and when the Odu comes, we see Ogbe Obara saw his own Odu, which is Ogbe Obara, came for him. And Ogbe Obara told him that his wife had to do with his dwindling prosperity. So he asked, what do I do? Ogbe Obara said, let's give a goat to Eshu. And he made some herbal bath and everything for him. So the next day, when his wife was sleeping, she started to confess everything, that I am the one that I'm the one that brings prosperity to you. I'm also the one that is taking it away now, because you are courting or you want to marry another woman. So when Orunmila is, when Ifa is fighting a witch, if they confess if they confess everything they have done, and they promise never to do wrong anymore, they'll be spared. In this case, she confessed that because her husband was courting another woman or wants to marry another woman, that's why she did all that. With the work of Ifa, and Ifa already done it, we saw it, we're still coming in another Odu, but in Osamiji, we saw what happened, how Orunmila, how it was Orisha or Obatala that saved the witches. Orunmila killed each one, every one of them, because Orunmila is the one that brought the only one to earth by swallowing. Hello? Hello?
We're here, Benny. Benny, we're here.
Yes, somebody was trying to call in and I don't want to receive that call. Arúwayọ̀. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá mi pe Arúwayọ̀ ń bí ẹ jọ̀ọ́. Ẹ bá mi wò kẹ́ pé mo ti rí. Ó ṣe send ẹ̀ láago méje, one disturb me. Help me call Arúwayọ̀ here. Ẹ bá mi wò.
The juicy Odu. Lots of drama on Ogbe Obara.
Okay. Are you back? You're back. I'm back too. Hello?
You're here.
Okay.
Baba.
Now, Ogbe Obara. When we cast Ogbe Obara, depending on why such a person has come to you, if they don't tell you why they've come, any of the Odus that you understand regarding the stories of Odu, of Obara, is the stories we must relate. And once you remember the offerings that's supposed to be made, you keep it at the back of your mind. As you're relating the stories of what happened, why it happened, and what needs to be done, the person themselves will say, okay, they found their problem inside these stories. And then once they say that, we just go straight to the ones and ask Ifa, these are the offerings that I'm saying we should make. If we make this offering, everything will be okay. Bang. You cast, Ifa will tell you, everything will be okay. You don't need any more. Or if you need more, if he doesn't accept, then you'll be asking more. Like, okay, do we need to add this to it? Do we need to add this to it? Till if I accept everything that you are going to offer, and our problem will be solved. With Ebo, Etutu, Adimu, Ikpese, all problem can be solved. I guarantee that every time we cast, we are going to give to Ishu. Because Ishu is the only one that can reverse what negative is already there. Those are the principles of divination. Once you give to Ishu, number one, we still figure out what other deities or divinities can help support and help eliminate. If it's somebody is against you, once we give to Ishu, they might say Shango to give you justice. If I might say to give to Shango. If somebody's honor is already been taken away, you give to Shango, you get honor. Shango is the king of all honor, that everybody's honor. If it's like something had to do with oppression from the forces of the mothers, After giving to Eshu, and we give to the mothers, guarantee. And to top it all, when we see Ori there, we say, oh, we're gonna pray to Ori too. In Ogbe Obara Nov, we see that what Orunmila advised the three brothers, he advised the boa to do, the rabbits to do, to the guinea fowl, also the roko tree. He advised them all to pray to their head also, which they did not do. After giving offerings to Eshu, it causes all their demise. To the point of where the guinea fowl lost all her 201 eggs that she laid under the iroko tree, because the iroko tree broke a limb that fell on the eggs. From then on, the guinea fowl only lay her eggs in the fields, in the sands, or in the fields. The rabbit that is laughing at the brothers because of their demise, the rabbit that was laughing at them, jumping up on the branch of the iroko tree, fell down on the boa. The boa got scared and ran into rabbit's hole. The rabbit allowed it to stay there. In staying there overnight, the boa consumed all the 7 children of the rabbit and wanted and gunning for the rabbit. The rabbit ran out. In the commotion of the rabbit running and shouting and making noise, scare the guinea fowl. The guinea fowl now made a war cry that alerted all the animals in the forest, who started running helter skelter, because it caused so much commotion. Ogbe Obara says, make offering quickly so that we will not see negativity. It's one of the odus that we have come across that said, when offering is prescribed, that it must be made quickly in Ogbe Obara. I also relate the story of the husband whose wife was a witch and was trying to obstruct the flow of his prosperity. And when he went to Ifa, and Ifa exposed everything, she confessed and forgave, and her husband forgave her, and she promised never to do wrong anymore, and they live happily ever after. But if she had refused, it's guaranteed that as the witches, when they have slated somebody to be killed, they will always go through with it to the point of their own destruction. To the point of their own destruction. So they will say, oh, witches never forgive anyone. They don't, because they have, our understanding is that when they go to the spirit world, they have to hang on to they embrace the tree of forgetfulness. So they can even be hurting their own family on earth, hurting their own children on earth, and they forget that it's their children. So, and the last but not the least of the odus, he made divination for the pregnant woman. A woman who was pregnant and was having frightful dreams, which made her to go for divination on what to do for safe delivery. He says, to stand and hit your foot on a stud, or bend and stand your foot. Bend and stand your foot. Kí a dúró, kí a kànsẹ̀, kí a bẹ̀rẹ̀, kí a kànsẹ̀. Adéfáfá boyún tí ń bẹ nínú ẹsẹ̀ kan ayé, ẹsẹ̀ kan ọ̀run. You know, when a woman is pregnant, they are 1 foot on earth and 1 foot in the spirit world, because in our culture, it's a very delicate time for them. A delicate time being a child is growing in there until the day that the child comes out successfully and the woman herself is in good health and can raise that child, then we know that she's fully on this earth. When they are in They are holding the baby inside until they deliver the baby safely. We are saying they have one foot on earth and one foot in the spirit world. Our prayer is like we will not experience death through pregnancy. We will not share in that negativity. She went to Orunmila, and Orunmila made a divination for her, who, unknown to her, had one foot on earth and the other foot in heaven. After divination, she was advised to make a sacrifice with a goat and the clothes that she was wearing so that the child in her womb might know the father. In the other words, if she did not make the sacrifice, the father would surely die before the child grew to know him. She sacrificed and the couple lived to nurture the child to adulthood. The person should be advised if he has a pregnant woman who should be told to make sacrifice to avoid the danger of premature death of the husband soon after the birth of the child. That is if the Ifa comes out as a so that the birth of the child might not lead to the death of the father. We believe the children comes from ancestors, reincarnated ancestors. All our children are reincarnated. That's why we do yes entire. Any child, like you are an ancestor that is gone, that returns. It's true reincarnation we bring you. And some, they might have made a promise that they are not going to live long on earth, that as soon as I get there, as soon as my son comes, that's when I'm coming back. So, but through Ifa, we can tie them down. In this situation where a woman is pregnant, she went to Ifa, one of her foot is on earth, the other foot is in the spiritual world, literally meaning the child is coming and the father is leaving. But that is going to be very sad for a child not to know their father. And it happens on this earth. So Ifa is the tool is the looking eyeglass into the future. That's why they call is the one that divined for Orunmila when he was going to do divination on the other side of the sea at Iwora. Iwora means the shining glass eye of the top of the sea, where the fish are performing wonders. Is the Odu that casts for the same Odu cast for Akere Sholu, the bandit. When we cast Ogbe Obara and it comes in Ayewo, which means it's higher than the Ire, we will say it's in a negative form, that conspirators are working against such a person, but you can overcome them. You can overcome them with offerings to issue. We will turn it around. The same way Orunmila overcame Akere Sholu, the bandit, that we overcome all negativity. Ogbe Obara also, according to these stories, comes with prosperity. When we cast Ogbe Obara for somebody, we say that person is going to prosper if they make offering. The person is going to have honor if they make offering. Because when Shango was poor and had nothing, Ogbe Obara gave Ifa to Shango, and Shango came to this earth and become a true king, became a king that has honor, became a king that is known worldwide, everywhere in the world, and became a king that commands the power of Eledumare, which is lightning, to to demand, to command justice for whoever he wants to. In my land, if lightning killed anybody, we will not bury such a person. They will drag them into the forest. They will rot away. Wild animals will eat their body because they are not fit. If you bury it, it will come out again. Lightning will strike the place and exhume the body. It could be 9 months and the body will not rot in my land. Sacred earth, which is the one that's going to swallow each and every one of us. Praying that he does it when we are already old and aged and we are transitioning to the spirit world. May we live long and may we prosper on earth. May we have honor. May we be blessed and receive as much blessings as Ogbe Obara received on this dimension.
Sure.
I do not want our time to really waste. I really want to discuss Obi divination today, to quickly talk about it. Let us, we start naming them. The first cast, let's say the first cast will be Odu, will be Obi, that all the faces are open, facing up. You can see the inside of all the collars. That is Ogbe. We also call it Alafia. It is the highest Odu, because you look at in the genealogy or in the hierarchy of the Odus, Ogbe is the highest of all the Odus. The next is Oyeku, which is all of them facing down. Oyeku. The next one now will be Obara. Obara is 2 facing up and 2 facing down. We also call it Ejife. Ejife. The third one now will be Okono, which is 3 facing down and 1 facing up. And the next one after the Okono will be Egita, Ogunda. We also call it Egita or Ogunda, which is 3 facing up and 1 facing down. Our main concern is the collar that is facing down. That's how we used to give it name. When we say facing down, means you can see the outer side of the collar. If you are using cowries, it means you can see the outside of the collar. You can see the inside of it. Understand? Mm-hmm. Now, the first one, as I said again, is Alafia or Ogbe, all facing up. The next one is Oyeku, all facing down. The next one is Obara, which is 2 facing down, 2 facing up. The next one is Okono, 3 facing down, 1 facing up. And the last one is Egita, which is 1 facing down and 3 facing up. That's why Obi divination is not as proficient as Ikin divination, but Obi is important because Obi is the first tool of divination on earth. It's later that Orunmila requests for Okpele, his servant, to come and join it, and then he came. Okpele became a servant, and even Orunmila caused it where it never eats. It doesn't eat. We don't feed it. Once in a year, we put it inside the Omiero that we used to clean the Ikin, and then apart from that, it was caused never to be fed. Now, when we cast Alafia, we know it's the highest Odu. You know it means Ogbe. If we are praying for good health, we are praying for prosperity, praying for things that are good, and we see Alafia, we know that our prayers are accepted. But we want to cast again to confirm. And if it's ancestors you are praying to, if it is Ori you are praying to, the one collar must be accepted. You will see 1 or 2 facing down. For example, if you are using 1 collar and you cast it, and we see all facing up, and you take it again and cast again, and 1 and 2 face up and 2 face down, we see Ogbe Obara there. Ogbe is the first Odu, Obara is the next one. Ogbe Obara. If the first one, if we see Ogbe Obara, we know it's a good Odu. The 2, if you want to confirm by having the deity choose one of the collar, you can still take the collar again and say ask that you have accepted this offering or these prayers, and you are going to bless me with what I've asked for with Ogbe Obara, and you cast again. You will see that if the two opens up again and two comes, Sat Obara has repeated itself. We will always eliminate the first one and go to the second and the third Odu and use it as and pronounce it as Obara Meji. And Obara Meji says, Obara Meji, we know it says we must pay homage to our mother. It is the head of the mother of Obara that helped you. Remember in the story of Obara, when Obara Meji, when he says he knows the ones that are killing the child of Olofin, and he doesn't know. So he says, oh, it is the mother of Obara that saved Obara. When Obara, even when he was drunk, and he boasted that he can wash a black cloth to make it pure white, which is impossible, but he did it through the help of his mother. So there's a message through your prayer there that, oh, you must remember your mother, you must pray to your mother, acknowledge mother once in a while, but your prayers have been accepted, and you just continue on. We can even tell the person, pay homage to your mother. We say, my mom, I remember you today, continue to support me. And then when you are about to eat the cola, you will pinch. If the mother is dead, you will pinch and give to the mother too. In your mind, thinking, okay, maybe one of these days I will just make a small feast and feed my mom through offerings. So, for example, say you're casting and you cast one facing down, three facing up. That's Ogunda. And you take it again and cast to ask if this Ogunda is what they used to accept. You don't even have to sometimes. But if you want to confirm and you want messages, you can cast again. And Ogunda might still come again. And if Obara comes again, we know Tegita share, Tegunda share, Tobara share, there's a share there. One at first cast, two at the second cast, perfect. If Ogbe, when we see Ogbe and his cast, you know that all is facing up, all of them are eligible as the offerings to the Orisha. Okoron, when we see Okoron, which is three facing down, one facing up, when Okoron casts, it becomes a share. Okoron is like everything you've said is accepted as it is. You don't even have to pick it and cast again. But sometimes you might want to confirm other things to say, you can ask, did you accept my prayers with this specific cast? And Okoron means a share. But you want to know which one of the colas the deity is taking. Normally, when you're casting for Ori, you will either see all facing up or two facing up, most quite often. And if one is chosen as facing up, facing down, if one is facing down, that's a Gita, Ogunda, you know that only one is what you are going to give to Ori right away. And when you continue with the prayers by casting the second kola, you will see that another one will be taken again. So it's only through practice and actually sitting together. And my prayers are like, by the power of Eledumare, by January, I will know I'm coming, because in January, we are going to go to Ifa. I want to take the vaccine so that I'm just psyching my spirit up and praying to Ifa that nothing is going to happen to me. I'm not going to be infected by it, and I'm going to be there, because I long to share more of this, especially this casting, so that we can use it to be asking, to know how to really ask the deities ourselves. When you pray to your Ifa, you can ask with your kola. You know, though a mirror cannot see itself, we still have to once in a while go to other hours to cast for us and tell us what they see for us, because a knife cannot carve his own handle. Knife cannot carve his own handle. Another knife will have to carve your handle so that you can carve others' handle. That is why we go for divination regularly, for things that we are not sure, and to help maintain our life in order. So those are, learning through Ifa is for eternity. We always be learning. We cannot know everything at once. So we can, and let's ask some questions. Let's ask some questions so that it might help me. It might help. Yes.
Babaro aboye babalao.
Boy, what you say?
Yeah. So, Baba, you spoke about Obatala being the
Yes.
one that saved the Yami. Can you elaborate on that for me, please?
Okay. When one of the oldest, when Orunmila has already swallowed them, he swallowed one of them, the one that is coming to earth, and he put them inside. And to cross a river, because he cannot carry, Orunmila cannot carry anything. The only way she was begging Orunmila to carry her. But Orunmila said, I cannot carry you over this bridge because it can only hold one person at a time. So he says, okay, put me inside. So Orunmila swallowed her. And when they got to the other side, Orunmila said, come out. She said, no, I'm not coming. I have found a place to be. Orunmila said, then I will starve myself and I will not eat any food. He says, then go ahead. There's liver here, there is intestine here, there's everything here. I have enough food. Those are what she likes anyways. So Orunmila went to Ifa, and Ifa advised her to make offering to Eshu, and that's the food of goat, not to leave it raw, to cook it. Went to cook it and take it to the crossroad. So Orunmila did that and took it to the crossroads. But he advised Orunmila to hide and be watching what will happen. So Orunmila got there and hid in one place and called the mother and said, food is to come out. And when she smelled the aroma, she came out. And because she only eat in hiding, she will not eat in the presence of anybody that's seen her. Orunmila take that advantage and ran away. That's how she was able to be on earth. Now she's on earth. She already here. She started to do as she wants, committing atrocities, doing all different things. So when the report get back to Eledumare that this person is doing this and that, one example of what she did is Obatala has a pond. This pond has a dike that flows into another pond, like a lake. And that lake is what everybody, Obatala was told to go and make offering. He refused. Now Eshu diked it so that if the water will not flow into Obatala zone. Now, the mothers who are using the other lake now decided they are not going to allow anybody to go in there. So it affects, Obatala was almost in starvation of water because they don't allow. But through offering and sacrifice, he was freed. They begged the mothers to allow him to be able to use. Now the story continues on. After a while, the mothers, they continue to do all these things. So they send a message. Obatala sent a message to the spirit world, to God, that they are committing. So Eledumare sent Orunmila. So Orunmila came and started to eliminate them. And one of them, as he was eliminating, one of them ran into Obatala's house. From Obatala's house, Orunmila chased him to Obatala's house. And then she ran out of Obatala's house and ran back into Orunmila's house and hide under the stool where Orunmila keeps his ikin. So Obatala now came to Orunmila when Orunmila is eliminated and there's only one remaining. It's Obatala that told Orunmila not to kill that one, that to spare it, that he will take care of it. Take care of that one, and it will prevent it from doing any form of negativity. They went it, Orunmila said, they must go into covenant, which is what they did. Obatala sat down, the mother sat down, Orunmila sat down, and they went into covenant that they will not destroy anything of Orunmila's. And that's why when you run under the shelter of Orunmila, of Ifa, you'll be spared. If somebody if somebody has been slated to die, to be killed, if they were able to find Ifa, they will not die anymore. Death is it's only Orunmila that's scared. Orunmila scared death. Humans are scared of death. But in the Odus, Gogoji Moriku Mabajao is a song. This is the war song that Orunmila sang to scare death, and death ran away. That's another Odu. We are going to get to it. It's coming very soon when Eledumare asks all the deities to go and bring 201 heads if they want to be the one that controls the earth. And nobody, only death can do it. Ogun cut off many. Shogo did everything. Orunmila was like, I'm so afraid to cut off the head of people. Orunmila doesn't kill anyone, but he killed the witches. The Yami killed them and killed them and killed them till they made the covenant that they will not destroy anybody who is under the shelter of Orunmila, under the watch guard of Ifa. That is why we run to Ifa for all protection. You know, even in the Odus, remember in the Odu, is it not a Ogbe? When Obatala was, the Orisha was supposed to be hosting the divinities, and Orunmila and Eshu came and says he's going to be the first one to host the meeting. You remember that story? We told that story in the Odus. Eshu came and said he's going to be the first one to host the meeting. And meanwhile, Orunmila has already gone to ask, he's already gone to Ifa, and Ifa has already told him what he needs to do to protect himself because Eshu is throwing confusion. Eshu should kill 2 children of Obatala. Ogun is the next deity to hold the meeting. It should kill 2
Maybe he received a call.
Don't know. Uh-oh.
Okay. You say that Odu with Obatala saving the Yami was Ose something, Ose something. Do you remember? I can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Mention the specific Odu.
He did. The first time he said it, he did. He said, we've seen this before. Ose something. So it's not that easy to hear today, unfortunately, but yeah.
back.
Yes.
Hello. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I was trying to try and call in again. Anyways, as I was saying, it is the
You said that
Orunmila was the only one that was able to overcome. He was able to overcome the power of Eshu in Eshu, killing all their children, causing their children to have, or causing commotion at the meetings of the divinities, because he understands it. He knows Obatala is the representative of Eledumare himself on earth. Orunmila knows that. So, and he listened to what Obatala said that he's going to.
No. Oh. Oh boy. Can't hear you. Are you talking to us, Ifa Coyote?
We can hear you.
I was talking to you, Fashola, saying just as soon as you're about to get a tidbit, it cuts
Right.
off.
Even the story he was saying, it was like, what happened with the water and the dam before that? I'm like, what happened?
That's what Fashola was saying. To revive back to the lake.
Are you coming
happened at the
downtown,
lake?
Ifakayode?
Downtown. I didn't plan to. I don't think we're in the city. Why? What's going on downtown? Is there something popping?
There is session.
Oh,
You forgot. You said y'all had a conversation. Wow.
several
Whoa.
messages throughout the month after that first session asking to confirm the date, and still I got no confirmation.
Is it happening at Seiko's?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have to. Wow.
Up until yesterday at 1:30, I sent him a message and still no response.
He said that he sent you a message. He told me he sent you a message. Unless he sent Ifashola, but he
If
said,
he sent me for sure, then that's not.
I don't know. Oh, here he is
Not gonna
again.
get to me.
I have to go clean my car.
Okay.
I'm back. I'm back
Okay.
again. Okay. Now, just we know that Obatala is the one that helped the witches, the mothers, be able to be on earth. Orunmila spared them. When Orunmila spared them and realized there's one hiding under, he wanted to kill it too, and Obatala said to spare. That is why anything that hide under Ifa is protected, is shielded, always. If you put a hen, if you leave a hen inside a room, and you put a Ifa under a stool there, the hen will go and hide under the, if you put a hen there, many times it happens. We put a hen inside the Ifa room, the hen will go under the Ifa shrine to just, and then they will be jumping everywhere. Normally they will be jumping everywhere, but when they get under there, they will be just quiet. That's where you are going to go and take it. I've experienced that many times. So, any more questions? I think the services are very weak at this time because many people are making calls. In my land, people are making calls early evening. It's 7:14 now. That's probably why. Anyways, but it's flowing now. Any more questions? Questions regarding casting?
Yes. Baba, you mentioned with Ogbe or Alafia.
Yes.
Do you often cast again? Is this like what is it, Paobi or Daobi? Because the way I was taught is you only cast again for Itaiwa or Okanran. Well, I say Itaiwa, but you Igeti or
because reason why you cast again
yeah.
is because to know when you see Ogbe once, we do not know which one of the colas is being accepted, but you know that you already been supported. Ogbe means support. It is the highest of all the Odu. It's already accepted, but which one of these colas must we take? It is better if one is facing down, because in the Odus of Ifa, we say it is the Odu, Obi, that is facing down, that the Awo will pick up and open up, so that everything can be opened up clearly to us, so that things that are against us will be totally exposed to us. He say, "Yo deju, ohun lawo man shi, obi to ba deju." The old collar that is facing down is the one that the Awo will pick up and open up. Is to open things up. So, and the fact that you will just hear one by casting cast the 4 piece once, you only have one of the odus. It needs to come in two because all the odus come in two. We see Ogbe Obara, Ogbe Meji, Ogbe Okana, Ogbe Ogunda, Ogbe Oyeku. And so when you see Ogbe, what is the following Ogbe? What is following it? Then you cast again. So you know that it is Ogbe Egita, Ogbe Ogunda, which means this Ogunda is one facing down and three facing up. So we know that it means to have the compassion of the people, compassion on us, for humans to have compassion on us, for us to have compassion on others, not to be easily angered with oneself. And then you know that cola is accepted with the one that's facing down. You pick the one that is facing down and you pinch it. So does that answer that question?
Yes, Baba. So
you cast twice.
Yeah.
Casting twice you cast twice. It's good. It's good to cast twice. If you have questions you want to ask, like, answers to your questions, then you can cast one and ask again which one of these cola you accept. Even if you see, ask, which cola have you taken? Which one of these colas you have chosen from me? Then you will see the one that is facing down. Sometimes in IFA, you will take two. Then you put one on the right, you put one on the left, and the rest can be eaten.
Okay. So what if, for example, I'm using cowrie, I don't have coconut, I don't have obi, right? So I am just using, I receive alafia. I also know that, Ogbe is about, it could take time. You might receive the blessings, but it might take some time. Is that part of it as well? I'm not sure if you heard me. Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, Baba.
What was your question? You are asking what if, because something of cowrie.
Yeah, so when I don't have obi or coconut or rogbo, I use cowrie.
Yes.
So I give you an example. My daughter has been struggling with school. I put her in one school and it was always Okanran EGFA, which I was getting. Sorry, I use those terms because I don't use the Odu terms. So
okay.
and she was showing improvement, but not enough.
Okay.
So now I'm considering switching her schools, and what I got was Ogbe. So
Alafia, it's good.
Yeah.
Ogbe is good because you are using just cowries.
Right.
If you are using cola where you have to feed the cola,
right.
Then you have to know which one is. It says, if you're asking that, is this new school going to be better? It says, yes, Alafia. There's not going to be any problem there. Ogbe is number one. Number one of all you.
But does it also mean that it could take time? The blessings are coming, but it could take time. That's what I understood.
Yes. Ifa always tell us Ifa says to have the patience. He has the patience of a millipede or a centipede with millions of legs, but it's slowly moving. Ifa said not to rush anything. We must not to rush life. Even the improvements, if we humans, we are impatient. We always want things to be right there, to happen just like that. We have been poor all our life, but now when we found Ifa, we want to be we want to be rich in 1 week. It's never that way. Slowly, everything is slowly but surely, steadily, praying, offering, praying to your Ori, especially for your child. And remember what I said about honey. Honey, a child that you want them to be smarter, you feed them honey, natural honey. It opens up their memory and helps them, and it's good for your health also. Because honey is so sweet. Say, try this after you are, say we are doing homework, make it a practice. We are doing homework, let's do homework. After we do the homework, let's take honey. Take a teaspoon, let's lick it. After the homework, take a teaspoon. Take a teaspoon. After a while, you will see so much improvement because nobody takes honey and not experience sweetness. Homework will now become something so sweet for them, for her, or that she will want to do homework because of that sweetness. Psychologically, that is what. If I said Adu, sweetness, something is going sour. Once you put sweetness in it, you will forget the sourness. The sweet will overcome sourness. So you can try that. And remember the memory, the Odu Obara, Irete, Obara Irete, Obara Iwori, Obara Iwori. You remember Obara Iwori that we are supposed to mark and put in, that we have to put in cold water and put it in the fridge to be drinking and not let the water finish.
Yes.
Yeah, you use that too for the memory of the children and our memories too.
Okay.
Okay.
I do pay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? I moved from where I was sitting so that the reception could be better, and I noticed that it's even better where I am. Okay. No more questions?
When do you think you'll be coming, Baba?
In the spring, March, by the grace of God, by the end of March, like Barele Dumari, I want to come. My heart is there now. My heart is there. You know, then we can really practicalize many of these things that we are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we are going to do. You know. So okay, so Osaifa, okay, let's see. This is why we practice it. Let's practice it. Let's use this. Let's use that. We use fish and rat only. If we want to use a pigeon with blood, if we want to use a hen, then we'll do it. So that simply how we do it and how after we kill the animal, after we cook it, how do we do the ere? Ere means how we bring cooked food to Ifa and how we feed it. The liver, the heart, the gizzard, the breast, how we put little pieces on it, and what is the significance, and what prayers do we say when we do this, and why are we doing it? So we can all those. Anyways,
one more question. You said with Ogbe Obara that when this comes, you look at all the other messages from Obara to see if they apply. So any other Obara, so for example, could be Obara Bugbe or Obara Iwori. You look at any of those?
When I'm looking at Ogbe Obara, no, we have been doing it where we are looking at the Odus individually.
Right.
Like one, not to confuse the siblings. We are not confusing with the siblings because
Okay.
it will get mixed up easily.
Okay.
We do Ogbe Obara. Okay, we'll do Obara Ogbe. When we get to Obara, we will start talking about Obara Bogbe. And in Obara Bogbe, the reason why I said it will confuse is because some of the Odus are related. Not all of them, but in this way, we can see how the Ogbes are doing. And then all the way to the end. By the time we come to Obara itself, we'll be able to understand and remembering what Obara Meji, what he did in his life, and relate it to what the children, the siblings will do too. The children and the siblings will do.
Yes.
So that's how we were taught. We were taught to go one way first and then come back the other way. As in, do the Ogbe's first, finish it. That's how I was taught the Odus. And then we will understand the life of Obara. For example, Obara Bogbe. Obara Bomogbe, Omogbe Oku. In the beginning of that Odu, the story of Obara Bogbe, Obara and Ogbe, one of the stories, Obara Ogbe are brothers. And they both went for divination one day to find out how they will live their life and be prosperous. And they were told to go and pray beside a palm tree, backing a palm tree, carrying the offerings on their head, go and do the prayers. So Obara and Ogbe went to the forest. They carried their offering. When Obara was started to pray, Ogbe moved to behind him, and Obara was supposed to carry the offering on his head. When he has finished his prayer, he's supposed to throw the offering back. Meanwhile, Ogbe, his brother, was behind him, and the offering covered up Ogbe. What Eshu did was make the brother to protect his own brother, because Ogbe was being slated for death, and the only person that can rescue him was through his own brother's prayer that's supposed to come from the mouth of his brother. It's actually significant with the meaning. It says Obara Bogbe. Obara covered Ogbe with the offering that they were supposed to be making together. That is how, when death was coming now, he couldn't find Ogbe anywhere. All he could see is the offering, and he started to eat the offerings that he saw under the palm tree there. Because death does not eat our food and kill us. Sickness does not eat our food and kill us. It's part of the principles and rules of the universe. Why we give offering. You see how that Obara Bogbe, the story, even that story, come and relate it to the stories of, and the stories are uncountable too. Come and relate to the Ogbe Obara. In the names of the Odu, we always have significance in some of the stories and some of the offerings and some of the significance of, when they talk about Obara Ogbe, they will not call it Obara Ogbe. They will say Obara Bogbe. Obara cover. Bo means cover. Obara covered Ogbe. When we see that Odu, we know, oh, if I cover me, Orunmila, shelter me, protect me. And if two brothers come for divination, straight, we will say, okay, one brother must pray for the other to protect the child, because or else one of them is going to face sickness and they are going to die, no matter what. Because what comes of the mouth of an awo that knows Ifa becomes an ashe. The principle of it is giving offerings to Eshu. Once Eshu gets his goat, death will be turned back, sickness will be turned back, everything will be like switch around. So anyways.
Is that a message for Abiku too, that one? When that
no, Abikus are spirits that are born to a spirit of born dying. We always eliminate that in our society.
Right.
If it, like at one point in time, my wife had a child, and the child came, and same day after the child had cried and things, they started to, but you know how they need to take out all the liquid from inside. Yeah, but she didn't go to the right place, and it becomes an abiku. And the elders always see it in her and say, so you must do all this, and which we must do, so that when she's pregnant again, the baby will not come again. So we had to make those offerings. Abiku is like a spirit child that's born to die and then come again, born to die, come again. So in our society, we always just go quickly, make all the sacrifices and all the offerings that we need to make, so that the spirit will not come again. We seal it up in the spirit world. The one that will come will be the one that stays. So
So somebody comes Abiku and the sign is cleared. Will they stay or will they continue?
They will stay. They will stay. They will not die.
I'm
We see
asking.
them a lot here.
Yeah, that
And
is
they will stay. They
that
will
is
stay.
my
They will not die.
son and his Odu's Obara Bogbe. So that's,
Obara Bogbe, Obara cover the child of Ogbe.
yeah.
Obara cover the child of Ogbe. The child of Ogbe will not die.
Mm.
Yeah. So they will not die. Obara Bogbe is a very good Odu. Obara Ogbe is a very good Odu. All the Odus are good, but some of them have.
Yeah.
You just have to pay attention to the taboos, what they are not supposed to do. Even anything that we see Obara, they must be very careful with alcohol. When we see Obara inside the Odu, Obara Meji, especially Obara Ogbe, Obara, we must be very careful with alcohol. So overrun such a person's life, and they must be content with little, which means, okay, I've done it, be satisfied. Do not want more. Oh, let me do it again. Let me do it again. That's when it gets into problem, So. Mm-hmm.
So what you were saying makes sense, because when we did the Meijis, like some of them were more tied to specific things, like Osa is more of the
Osameji, yeah, but the mothers.
The mother. So
but
when you see,
is the principle of it.
right.
When we see Ogun, Ogunda, we know Ogun is there. When we see Osa, we see the mothers there. When we see Oturupon, we see wisdom there. It is important that we do it individually that way. That way we can separate the mixture of it. When we do Ogberikusa, when we're going to do Ogbe Osa, you will see the influence of witches in one's life, because Osa is there. Anytime we see Osa, it's a Ogbe Osa, Ogberikusa, Ogbe see problem and run. It says, be careful of friends. Be careful of a friend. If a cast Ogbe Rikusa for somebody, we'll tell him never to go out at night. We'll tell the person, when you're already home and you want to go to sleep, if somebody knocks on your door or call you and say, oh, let's go do something, don't do it, because problem is coming there. I guarantee it. If somebody call you, you are inside the house and call your name, you must not answer in Ogbe Rikusa, and you will stay away from eating cola. From somebody gave you cola, one can easily get poisoned. One can easily get infected. So you don't, cola especially, you don't receive it. If someone say, give you cola, and you say, eat it, no way. That's Ogbe Rikusa. I don't know, many. And we don't travel with friends, where you travel out of town, where we're going to sleep overnight. If you have somebody is born of that Odu, if they want to travel with our people, they must ask, should I do it, should I not? Because it is one of the Odus. It is one of the major taboo for somebody born of that Odu not to travel with friends, to be careful of their friend, because their death, their demise is in the hands of a friend. Many Odus talk about, the last one we did, talked about be careful of friends too. Ogbedi. Anyways, as we go through it, and remember, like I said, always learning. But the basic principles that guide this Odu is the one we should be paying attention to. The basic principles that guide these Odus are the ones we should pay attention to. So we can easily, and if I will always talk to you, even you understand the stories of the Odus, if you cast it, what it relates to will be in your mind. It is through the mind that Ifa talks to people. It's not like you might know the stories, you understand the stories. Sometimes the stories are not as specific to the individual, but it will be related, not specific, but related. And the person will be able to apply it in their life, So.
Yes, Baba. So when we get to the point of casting for someone else, I would like to know how to look at it, because like you said, the priest or the priestess, the babalawo, the Iyanifa, the message is for them too.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
that's
We will, casting for others is through observation is the best way.
Mhm.
When you are there, when I come, we'll be sharing such a time where, okay, let's cast for each other so that you can hear, so that you can feel, and we can relate it to what is happening around us in our environment at the same time. But when we apprentice, you and I will stays with because different people will be coming. Baba said, go and find this thing, go and find this thing. Sometimes we cast and the elder is not there. Even we don't know it, we will call him and say, we have this Odu. Baba, what is this person is here? And they start telling us the stories. This and this. This and this. This and this. And then when we relate the story, the person will say, oh yeah, this is my issue. Because sometimes when they don't know you, they will not tell you why they've come. When we know each other, then we say, Baba, I have come because of this. Help me look at this. But some people, they will just speak quietly to the Okpele. They don't tell you what they have said. And we will tell if you are the one that heard what they said, you are the one that see the inside and the outside. Tell us, do not misconstrue blessings for misblessing and misfortune. And then we cast, and then we start telling the stories, and the person will say, yeah, you are. At the end, I always ask, have I mentioned the reason why you have come? They will say, yes, you have done it. And this is it. And then we realize, and then we can really break it open then and go deep into it and relate it more. You know, it's better if you don't know the priest, you don't have to tell them, let them dig out, then dig it out through the stories. And then when it relates to why you have come, then you'll be able to, open up then. It's actually a good way for divination. If you don't know the priest, you don't have to tell him why you have come. Let him cast. And he says, it's to give you the Okpele, you just speak to it. How do you see me? That I don't die, that I prosperous, that I live long. Generally, then he will talk. Through the divination, he will open up what issues that are facing you that you have come for. And then it can be easily solved. But if you know the priest, yeah, you can say, Baba, this is why I've come, and say it to Ifa, and Ifa, the Baba will open up and express it. Anyways,
Hey, Baba.
I
Thank you so
I
much.
I pray that our week will be a blessed week. That blessings will flow to us. We will not share in the negativity that's flowing around.
Ashe.
That all goodness, peace of mind will be ours. Christmas is almost here.
Ashe.
Odun is almost here. That we will celebrate it with peace of mind with our family, in good environment, and not face problem.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Yeah.
Ashe. I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Baba.
Thank you. Bye.
Then, Baba.
Go have a beautiful weekend. Weekdays, sorry. It is the weekend. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ó dàbọ̀.
Good double.
Ìpàdé wa bí oyin, we say, may our meeting be as sweet as honey. Àṣẹ. Bí oyin. Ó dàbọ̀.
Good double.
Good.